and let's get on to this fourth team in the division. We got the Atlanta Falcons. My main point of this team was development. You got a bunch of the whole O-line's development except for Jake Matthews. You got Hennessy at the center. You got left guard Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan from last year. Right guard, you got Lindstrom, who's already proven himself to be very
Lindstrom's been good.
Yeah, and then you have Caleb McGarry, who's also same draft as Lindstrom, who's been but he could prove and progress to be a better player. But the big hit or miss here is Mariota, obviously. We'll see how he plays. I'm not a Marcus Mariota hater. I think he has a lot of good parts to his game. He's just not the most accurate quarterback, which is not really what the Falcons need exactly at this point because they have Kyle Pitts, who doesn't need to go deep to be good, and their receiving group's bottom three probably. They have Brian Edwards, I believe they brought in. Ridley's out for the year, obviously. Drake London, obviously. So and they lost Russell Gage. But they have Zacchaeus as well. They have some pieces there that I think Mariota is going to be in his best case scenario for him. But it's all based on how he performs depending on the wins. And that's such a stupid thing to say, obviously, because it's a quarterback. No shit. It has something to do with the wins or losses. But the defense is very weak. But Mariota's going to be the bright spot for this team this year if they are good.
They're going to be competing for C.J. Stroud or for Bryce Young. Just going off last year, they had, I think, the second worst run offense in the NFL. Their defense was pretty atrocious. I mean, they couldn't get pressure. They were last in the league in sacks. Their run defense was horrendous. Their pass defense was decent, but a lot of that had to do with A.J. Terrell, who's already one of the best corners in the NFL. They also brought in Casey Hayward, who I like. So they have a good cornerback room. They got Rashawn Evans, who you've talked about before already. But I mean, D-line besides great, Jarrett isn't great. They brought in Eddie Goldman, who's decent.
Marlon Davidson, who hasn't proved anything yet, and their safeties are very old and weak. They got Richie Grant, but he doesn't look very good early in his career. But they're just a gap team. They're rebuilding. You could just tell.
Yeah, and I mean, you knew that once they decided to get rid of Matt Ryan. I mean, the team overperformed last year, in my opinion. They 7 wins. I mean, I consider that overperforming for how good the team is on paper. But I mean, Mariota, he's going to have some receivers to throw to in Pitts in London. I like Drake London a lot. I think a lot of people do. But the run game, like I said, he's not going to have any help. The run game, he's probably the leading rusher this year, Marcus Mariota.
And yeah, for sure, he probably is. I mean, Patterson's probably going to be the receiving leader as well. So one thing.
Pitts.
You think he gets shut down this year? Well, I know obviously Pitts, but I'm talking about he's probably going to have more receiving yards than rushing yards.
He'll probably get more receiving yards, but at the same time, I will actually say one thing is I think Desmond Ridder is going to play this year because I think at some point the Falcons will have playoff contention there and be like, let's see what we got in Ridder. Because sure. I don't hate Mariota, but I don't think he's going to do enough for the Falcons to not be like, hey, let's see what this guy's got.
I feel you in that, but the one thing I was looking up with this team is you got to imagine, and this is kind of off topic, but it's about the Falcons. The Browns got to be pissed because Deshaun Watson was always going to go there until he got thrown $230 million at him. So they were trying to win now. They started signing veterans like Casey Hayward and more on top of that. But think about those picks. They would have got the 8th pick this year, and they would have got 3 first-rounders from the Falcons who aren't a great roster. Instead, they got 3 first-rounders from the Browns who are a good roster. I think the Texans really got hurt on that. But the Falcons weren't ready to give up. They were trying to win.
Well, there were some people that were going to come, right? Leonard Fournette said he was going to go to Atlanta. Jarvis Landry was going to go to Atlanta. Jadeveon Clowney was going to go to Atlanta. They already had some people that were ready to go to Atlanta if Watson was to sign there. But, I mean, Watson, is he going to play this year?
Casey Hayward went there because he thought Deshaun Watson was going to go.
Was that confirmed? Because I thought he went there afterwards.
He wasn't confirmed, but why would you say that? Because he's on the Falcons now for 2 years. But his agent's the same agent as Deshaun Watson. Kyle Pitts accidentally tweeted because he heard something, and he was like, oh, no, that was about Casey Hayward. That's just cap.
Well, yeah, I mean, A.J. Terrell was told that he's going to Houston.
Yeah.
He was told he was going to Houston. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter I think he's still going to perform at a high level. But you do wonder if that might mess with his mental a little bit. I don't think it will, but you never know. Sometimes with young players,
you never know. But yeah, they're definitely just in rebuild mode, and
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being in rebuild mode. I mean, you tried. I mean, obviously you send Matt Ryan out, so you know you're in rebuild mode. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, maybe they really like Desmond Ridder. I'm not the biggest Desmond Ridder fan. Marcus Mariota, we know, isn't the long-term QB. I don't believe he is. So trying to be in the CJ Stroud race, trying to be in the Bryce Young race is perfectly fine. I mean, I don't know if they really have anybody to sell at the trade deadline, but I mean, whoever's going to be, maybe Grady Jarrett, they just signed an extension, so I doubt that. But I mean, whoever you bring in at QB is going to have Drake London. They're going to have Kyle Pitts and maybe Cam Ridley. I mean, we'll see if they still trade next offseason. He was close to being an Eagle, I believe, right?
I heard Eagles. I heard Dolphins before the Tyreek Hill thing, and I heard
no, like they agreed to a trade with the team.
They agreed to it. I did not hear about that.
I'm pretty sure they agreed to a trade with the Eagles.
I mean, I think that worked out for them though, because they ended up getting AJ Brown.
Yeah, but yeah, they agreed to a trade. I think it was the Eagles. It might have been the Patriots, but they agreed to a trade, and then the Falcons basically backed out because they found out that he was going to be suspended. Which I'm just going to quickly throw out: Ridley suspended for a year. That guy up north, for doing something else that wasn't gambling. I'm just throw that out there.
Yeah, that's he should not have got suspended 16 games for betting $1,500.
Went on games that he was really
not playing in.
But that's either here or there. Do you have anything else to say about the Falcons?
Nah, that's just I'm kind of excited to see Marcus Mariota, but besides that, they're going to be a very.
Oh, yeah, I like Marcus Mariota. I mean, he's got weapons. I just think he's more of a game manager at this point, right? He probably would have been better on a team like Pittsburgh, right? A team that's maybe. Yeah, I mean, he's probably headed to Indy. I'm pretty sure he was heading to Indy unless they're able to get Matt Ryan. I don't know if they might have been going after Winston. I know Winston flew to Indy, but I think Mariota was the main guy. But nonetheless, I mean, I would have liked to see him in a more winning situation. But it's still a chance for him to go ahead and show what he's got.
Yeah, I'm just excited to watch him play again, man. I loved watching him come in and play Wildcat for the Raiders. He just looks fun. He would bring a new pizzazz to it. So
but even the one game he played for them, right? He had a pretty good showing for them. But
he had a great game.
He is going back to the team, like back to the head coach that did bench him, right?
Arthur Smith, yep.
Yeah, he did bench him. He was on that team. So I mean, he must like him if he's wanting to bring him back in. So we'll go ahead and see how he does. But I'm excited for Mariota to see what he's got.
Yep. Besides that, they're going to be pretty cockroach away, but we'll see about it.